Hello Exiles and welcome to a new video. This one is probably my last update video on the Explosive Concoction of Destruction Aristocrat build. And the build is just a blast. It's under 20 divines currently, or currently it's around 20 divines. Let's say 20 divines on 9 million DPS could easily go to 12 million DPS or 11 million DPS with just, I don't know, 5 divines upgrades. And yeah, the build is for me it's a perfect combination of defense and damage, and yeah, kept spell suppression, kept block chance on 65%, some spell block, although I think I would drop the spell block all the way, and yeah, just a bunch of heavy hitting. The however, the weakest part of the build is the clear. It is nothing special. All the gameplay you see right now is with Oriets and Flasks that gives me explosions. But even then the clear isn't anything special. But yeah, every skill has its own upsides and downsides, right? For example, this concoction, Explosive Concoction, has great single target potential. But yeah, you've got to find a way to fix the clear, or just accept the part that the clear is not gonna be the best thing you can do. But overall, the build is just phenomenal. Having kept evasion and having actually some block, and with 3.5k life, it's just enough for me. And you can even count in the sap you've got from your lightning damage, and all the alternative elements are basically at their maximum. Even when you're fighting a boss like Maven, I was actually surprised that I have maximum effects of all those alternative elements, even on big bosses. Yeah, but just turns out just scale enough elemental element effectiveness and you're gonna get it good effectiveness, right? Yeah, this is just an example of a tier 17 layer of Hydra map, and this is what I was doing for past couple of days. Basically running boxes and bosses at the same time. So Guardians, then run the Invitation, then I ran a bunch of Elders, I think 11 Elders yesterday, dropped 5 Watcher's Eye. Of nothing really. The most worth it one was for a divine, so I lost money, but yeah, that's what happens sometimes, right? But this is what I was doing, and as you can see, the clear isn't all that bad. At least when you're not doing any super juiced maps. If it's just a normal content, the clear isn't anything bad. And even with Orias and Flask, yeah, of course the Flask help a lot. At least for the feel of the build while clearing, but in the end, I don't think it's really required for normal clearing, normal mapping. It, I think, isn't really required. And as you can see, the DPS 9 million, it is respectable even with these kind of crazy defensive thingies for bosses. Basically, the Elires is a huge defensiveness for anything, and also the increased maximum life also counts. So even though with these defensive mods, the build's doing fine, right? Here you can see an example of my Uber Elder boss fight, first of the league, and yeah, as you can see, the arena was screwed a bit, but that was entirely my mistake. Haven't done the boss in a while, and I always fall out of the... Yeah, basically for this boss fight, I always need to practice a bit, run a couple, and then it's fine. But yeah, I just love the boss fight. It's, I think, the most well-made boss fight in the whole game. Actually takes a skill and learning to what the bosses do, and even is really good in terms of rewards, as you'll see in a couple seconds when the drop spawns. Yeah. First Uber Elder, as you can see, and I dropped an Indigon. 30 divines, easy, right? Here you can see an example of a tier 17 boss. And this and the Uber Elder fight was both recorded on my older setup with 6 million DPS, so even with 3 million less than I have right now, you can see you can do stuff in the game, right? With 6 million DPS, and it felt good. Like I didn't feel bad with my DPS. But yeah, the only tier 17 I did, and the only tier 17 I'll do for the event, because I strongly dislike tier 17s. I just really cannot be fucked playing them. And so always at the start of the league, when I'm able to do tier 17, I do only one to unlock my slot in map device and never touch them ever again. There's an example of a normal Cortex, and this is with 9 million DPS, and as you can see, every normal content in the game, like I'm not talking about Ubers or tier 17s, the build just shreds. It's a no joke. It's I think a decent build if you want to play the normal content in the game. As you can see, this is on 9 million DPS, and with 5 more divines I could pump the DPS to 12 million, so I might actually do that. Just get a Whispers of Doom and a better jewel and quality on gems. Easy 3 million plus. And for the last, I ran a Chayula. I just basically ran everything I've got laying around. Ran a Chayula. And yeah, as you can see, the clear isn't that bad in some scenarios. We're in a scenario where spawns run basically from only one direction, and you could clearly see the effect of Orion's End right here. And it doesn't feel that bad. And the single target, as you might have seen from the other showcases, yeah, you're hitting really hard, as you can see. And as you can also see, the build isn't even, like, squishy. It's good enough. Yeah, let's get into the build. Yep, so we're in the game now. Currently level 94, leveled up a bit. Did bunch of content, bunch of stuff. Yeah, the character is pretty strong. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out to be in the end. And I think I'll start off with the gear. And the only change I did, the gear's completely the same as in my last video. The only thing I did was I dropped my diamond flask because I'm way too overcapped on crit chance even without my diamond flask, and I slotted in just 1-to-1 Oriat's End. This flask that does nothing for bosses, but I was too lazy to get anything else basically that I could slot in for bosses. I don't even feel like I need it. So I've got a Oriat's End. Helps with the clearing, helps with the overall feel of the build while doing maps. Yeah, the gear completely the same as I said, but the changes were actually in the skill tree. And I decided that I'll be dropping the unique Jewel Replica Reckless Defense, and that makes me lose a bit of spell block, but I'm still attack block capped, thanks to my body armor that gives me 20% attack block and Versatile Combatant, so that's the reason why I still have 20% chance to block spell damage. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it like that. Don't care about it anymore. The build's doing fine like this, and feels tanky enough for me. Might not feel tanky enough for everyone, but yeah, that's subjective. That's basically up to you how tanky you want to make your character. You can easily make this one more tanky by just getting more block chance, dropping rare jewels for, I don't know, rare jewels with block chance for attacks. Then the attack block chance would translate into your spell block thanks to Versatile Combatant. So you could easily make the build more tanky. You could, I think you could get to close to 4k life just by getting better gear, better life rolls overall, because I've got quite a shit rolls. Maybe not on the shield, it's a tier 1 actually, I think, but yeah, it's tier 1. Yeah, but on your boots, maybe even on your helmet, on your gloves, I think maybe even dropping some damage, because I don't really need, for example, this crit chance mastery. I don't really need it. Maybe I don't even need the whole cluster, because I think I would be kept without it on crit, but then I would lose blind, and I didn't want to basically tinker around with this stuff anymore. So yeah, the changes on the skill tree. I leveled up a bit, and I decided not to take the Thread of Hope, very large, and place it here, because very large Thread of Hope placed into this socket would give me access to Disciple of the Slaughter, Disciple of Unyielding, and Tessundo for the block, basically, and that would give me lots of this node only would give me 40% would give me 20% chance to block attack damage, so I would be already at 40%, and then I would get the replica reckless defense, and I think I would be even spell block kept. Disciple of Unyielding would give you endurance charges while mapping, additional defense basically, and endurance charge 1 at all times. And also the thing you could do is you could just slot Enduring Crygem anywhere in your gear and just press it while you're near the boss, and you're gonna get 3 endurance charges on bosses. You're gonna be more tanky. Disciple of the Slaughter, damage per frenzy. This would actually give you quite a lot of damage. And would help you with the frenzy charge generation. Maybe you could even drop Blood Rage in the end, but yeah, I happen to find myself still using Blood Rage even on bosses, because it feels good to use it, because it's just 23% increased attack speed at all times for free. So why not use it? Sorry about that. Yeah, also what you could do for bosses, you could drop your Oriat's End and put in the Rot Gut unique flask to consume your frenzy charges to give you onslaught on bosses, and you would get attack speed, but I don't really find that necessary. Yeah, and as I leveled up a bit, as I said, I dropped the reckless defense, and I got 2 crit multi-jewels, so triple crit multi. Pretty cheap to get triple crit multi for Explosive Concoction, because it has all the tags you want. It has fire, cold, lightning, projectiles, attack, AoE. It is really easy to get triple crit multi-jewels. This cost me 2 divines, and the other one, basically also triple crit multi-jewel, cost me, I think, 2.5 divines. So pretty easy to get these triple crit multi-jewels, and every triple crit multi-jewel is worth, I think, around 900k DPS. So yeah, with 2 divines, basically 1 million DPS plus. Easy choice, right? And also, as I leveled up to 94, I was able to drop these nodes and replace them with mana reservation efficiency right here, because I used to have increased effect of ailments on my helmet, but I figured out that I don't need it at all. So I dropped these nodes, got reservation efficiency, my mana is still fine. I leveled up precision a bit more. I currently have it at level 7. So it even gave me more crit chance and more accuracy. And I also was able to take another frenzy charge, so I'm at 5 frenzy charges now. And the last cluster jewel that I had prepared, as I was saying in the last video, with increased effect of non-damaging elements you inflict with critical strikes, to offset the loss of it on my helmet, and also gives me crit chance and pressure points for crit chance and chance to deal double damage. Currently, I think I have 20 or 25% chance to deal double damage in the build, and you really feel it when you hit with the hit that deals double damage. It's a huge chunk of enemies' HP down. And yeah, a really important thing is perfectly rolled Watcher's Eye by Grace, but that costs nothing if you want really just the Grace. It is 1 divine with this perfect roll, and I got it shiny. What can I say? You would be stupid if you wouldn't buy it, right? If it's shiny. Yeah, but this is basically all the changes I did. The build is great. The gear is still the same as in last video, except the flask. And yeah, as I said, the future upgrades for the build that I would do, and I actually might do, I'm not sure yet, but I might do them, would be getting anoint on whisper on your amulet and getting Whispers of Doom anointed for additional curse. That would enable me to use elemental weakness, and elemental weakness would... Oh, wait, this is Flame Dash. This right here. It would enable me to use an elemental weakness, and elemental weakness is another, I think, 1.3 million or 1.6 million DPS into the build. Just for free, you press it every 10 seconds. Yeah, that is not so hard, really. You don't have to press any buttons with your build, with this build, except for the Ellie weakness and Blood Rage. So it is not hard to play. So that is one upgrade I would do. Get Ellie weakness, get Whispers of Doom on an amulet. The second upgrade would be getting level 4 in power. Would pump my Explosive Concoction to level 30. That would give me another, I think, 1 million DPS. And I would get a better Corrupted Blood Immunity Jewel. Maybe a double crit multi or just with increased damage. Basically anything that fits your budget. And yeah, that would also increase my... I think getting better jewel than this really wouldn't be hard. I think I even found this one. So getting better jewel than this really wouldn't be hard and would cost you maybe 2 divines again for double crit multi with Corrupted Blood. I have really no idea, I'm just guessing. So, and you would increase your DPS by another, I think, 500,000 minimum. And yeah, the fourth upgrade I would actually do would be getting quality on my support gems, because they have no quality. And I checked it in the PoE, especially the Greater Volley support. Yeah, quality on Ellie damage with attacks, Greater Volley, and Ellie Pen would give me another, combine all those three together, another, I think, 1 million DPS into the build. So easily, with just few upgrades, you could get this build to 12 or 13 million. And then if you wanna keep playing and keep pushing the build, maybe just consider a whole different setup. But I have not done any like ideal endgame PoBs or anything like that, because it's enough for me as it is now, and I'm not sure if I will even do these upgrades that I just said, because I want to play another build, and I think my next build's gonna be expensive, because I want to revisit some melee skill that I didn't play in a while, and I want to make it really juicy. And yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, if you had any struggles with resistances like I had, basically I had to use tattoos, a couple tattoos to fix my fire res, for example. Yeah, Oriet's End with this setup has permanent uptime. And it means it gives you over 35% early res, because you have some flask effect on you. So I'm basically highly overcapped on resistances at all times, because as you can see, even in hideout, while just standing still, the uptime on my Oriet's End is just permanent. It doesn't go off. So that's another good thing about Oriet's End. You can actually use it to cap your resistances, and with using it for your resistances to be capped, you could consider completely different gear setup, but I just want to play another build, and I'm gonna leave it to whoever plays this build. So you might even consider some super endgame setup by transitioning to different body armor, and transitioning from replica Dragon Fangs to Yoke of Suffering. Basically getting damaged that way, increase damage taken. Yeah, but I think to make it worth it, you need a lot more currency than 20 divines. And at the same time, you would need probably a double corrupted chest and really good rolled Yoke of Suffering. And it would probably be a completely different setup, but yeah, as I said, I'm just happy how this character turned out to be. And yeah, even with really bad bases, because I just wasn't able to get good items, even though these items are not anything special, really. They're just resists and life. Even though I wasn't able to get good bases for my boots and gloves, I am still kept at evasion or chance to evade. Doesn't look like that, but your flask is basically permanent. That's also another thing I would do. I would get a better jade flask or find a way how to have this basically permanent even on bosses. Sorry. And as you can see, just with the jade flask, I'm at 93%. And if you count in blind, then you're at 95% and your evasion capped. So basically your evasion capped during any mapping, and on bosses you're most of the time evasion capped. So take evasion cap, combine it with 65% chance to block attacks and 100% spell suppression, 3.5 gain life, and all of a sudden you have a pretty survivable character, even with 0 endurance charges, 0 basically any defensive flare. Yeah, my other defensive flare is flesh and stone to give me less damage taken. Yeah, it's 20% less damage taken from enemies in aura. So this is really effective for bosses, especially because you're point blank, so you're trying to be close to the enemy anyways, and they're usually in your aura effect, so they deal less damage to you. Also, you have your 20% sap that is basically up all the time as long as you attack. So the build can survive actually a lot. But however, the biggest weakness still remains, and that is just unavoidable physical damage, usually unavoidable physical damage over time. For example, the Defiled Cathedral boss that does those blood beams that give you physical damage over time dot on you. That's actually what can kill you. Killed me a couple times on map bosses just because I was unlucky and Maven kept on spawning this boss, but usually before he even does that attack, you one-shot him, and with 13 or 12 million DPS, you would be even more likely to one-shot him without you having to worry about it. Yeah, so that's the build. Was a blast, still is a blast. I need to farm more currency now because, I just dropped the Indigon, but I pumped basically all the 30 divines, or like 24 divines to my idols, because I just felt like I want to try some better idols and better setup for strongboxes. And yeah, I'm having, I think, like 15 strongboxes, and usually like 12 of those strongboxes are Arcanist, so I'm getting lots of divines that way. Just from yesterday, couple hours farming, I've got 18 exalts and I think 10 divines that I've spent for something. So yeah, if you invest a bit into your strongbox idols, then you can get some pretty good results, and it doesn't take much time and it feels good because it's a mechanic where you just click it, kill enemies, collect the loot, right? The best thing you basically can get, right? Yeah, but the build is a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with how it turned out to be. So, yep, there you have it. I think it's safe to say that this build is good to copy, because the items shouldn't be anything really hard to get, and if for some reason Replica Perfect Form with plus levels to projectiles, AoE, or socketed would actually be the best, because it would pump up your level of inspiration by one more level, and that means you would get it to level 25, and at level 25 it gives you 6% more early damage per inspiration charge instead of 5. So that would be another upgrade. Let me actually do this trade quickly. It's 2 divines. I'll take 2 divines any day. Yeah, but the build for me, I feel like it's kind of done. Maybe I'll get the upgrades I was talking about, but I'm not sure. Maybe I will, maybe I will not. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll rather just save the currency for my next build. Yeah, but build was a blast. feel free to copy it. I don't think you can go wrong with it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. And tell me in the comments if you like this type of videos more than my usual. Basically, this type with when I'm talking at the beginning while some gameplay is playing or not. Because I always found mathless videos really enjoyable, and I'm trying to recreate his kind of edit on videos. So tell me in the comments if you like it or not. But as always, thank you very much for watching. See you next time, Exiles. Bye bye.